Good morning, everyone. Welcome to you all, and thank you for joining us in this webinar on MTBC EHR. My name is Athar Maqsood, and I'm one of the industry specialists here at the MTBC. In today's webinar, we are going to highlight some of the salient features about MTBC iEHR application. This app works on the same platform as our WebEHR and is quite efficient and user-friendly. This does not only allow the providers to submit the claims by using their iPad devices, but they can also go ahead and create the charts by using their iPads. Now, before I start or get into the details, let me first begin by telling you that you have joined us on this webinar session by using GoToWebinar service. You can see a GoToWebinar panel on the right-hand side of your screen. If you want to minimize the panel or get it out of the way, you can do that anytime by using the orange arrow button that is pointing towards the right corner of your screen. This allows you to minimize the panel and access the screen as much as possible. If you do want to ask any questions, there is a question section available on the GoToWebinar panel. You can just enter your questions and submit it. And I'll try my level best to answer all the questions that will be asked during this webinar or at the end of the webinar session. In case if we are unable to answer all the questions that will be asked during this webinar, we will be reaching back to you by email. Now let me just tell you a bit more about our company. MTBC was founded back in 1999 and is currently serving 60 unique medical specialties in 42 different states. We have 2,000 plus employees who are working 24/7 operations. And our technical support team is also available 24/7 in order to handle day-to-day questions that are being asked by the providers regarding the products and services that we offer. We are ranked among the Deloitte Technology Fast 500, and we are in corporation of 500 above 5,000 companies. We have 3 international offices, and we are a SureScript certified solutions provider. MTBC is also listed on NASDAQ. Now, as I've told you earlier, this phenomenal app that has been designed by MTBC iEHR not only help the providers in submitting the claims by using their iPad devices, but they can also go ahead and create the charts by using their iPads. Now, we are just going to go ahead and display a video tutorial in order to show you how this application really works. Now, once the provider will download the application from the Apple Store, or if he's using an Android tablet, he can also download the application from the Google Play Store. Once he downloads the application and run it for the first time, here is exactly the screen that he's able to see. In order to log into this application, he needs to enter his username and password and tap the sign in button. After successful signing in, this is the home screen that the provider will be able to see. It is basically the appointment screen, and it will display the list of all the appointments for the specific unique patients for the tentative date. Now, in order to view the appointment of a particular date, the provider can just tap the calendar icon and he can just select any date according to his own convenience in order to see all the appointments for that specific date. Now, as you can see, next to the calendar icon, there is a change provider icon available. If there are about 3 to 4 different providers in the same practice, then the provider can just tap the change provider icon and he can just select his own name. But if there is only one provider who is available in the entire practice, his name will be populated automatically. Similarly, the provider will be able to change the location as well. You can just tap the navigation button in order to change the location, or select the default location for himself. Now, on the top left corner of your screen, there will be a 3-bar icon available. If the provider taps that, he would be able to go to appointment settings or chart settings. It will just first take him to the drop-down menu, and he can just select the appointment settings or chart settings accordingly. And as you can see on your screen, next to the 3-bar icon button, there is a feedback option also available. If the provider wants to send the feedback to MTBC, they can just tap the feedback button and it can enter the feedback and submit it. Now, let's say the provider has selected the appointment screen. Once he taps the appointment settings, it will take him to this screen right over here where he can change the order of the options available. All he needs to do is he just has to tap and hold a specific option, and he can just slide that across the screen in order to change the position. Similarly, he can just go to chart summary settings and he can just change the position or order of all the options available by just tapping and holding the current option, and he can just slide that towards the left or right hand side of the screen, and it will allow him to change the position of that specific option according to his own convenience. And over here, as you can see, next to the back button that is available on the top left corner of your screen, there is a feedback option available. If you want to send feedback, you can just use that button in order to send all the feedback according to your own convenience. Now, once he has done editing or updating the settings according to his own convenience, he can go back to the main home screen, that is the appointment screen, and there will be a list of patients that will be populated for a specific tentative date. And he can tap any of the patients and he will be able to view a pop-up in front of him that will specify 6 different options or 6 different features that are enabled in the iEHR application. Now, as you can see, there are 6 different features available. First one is demographics. If the provider taps that, he would be able to view or edit the demographics of the specific unique patient. The option available next to that is add chart. As the name depicts it by itself, that he would be able to add a new chart for a certain unique patient. And the option next to that is chart summary. If the provider taps the chart summary, he would be able to view the chart summaries, the entire list of chart summaries that he has created for the patients in the past. Then there is add claim feature available that allows the provider to add new claim for the patient. And the option next to that is claim summary. That will help the provider to view the claim summary of the patients for all the claims that he has submitted in the past. And there's also a feature available for documents where the provider will be able to view the documents from the patient's end. Or any documents that he has saved in the EHR, he would be able to view the documents by clicking or tapping the Documents tab. Now let's say the provider has selected the demographics feature. Then it is just going to take him to this screen over here where he can just edit or enter the demographics for a specific unique patient. As you can see, the provider is able to add the first name and the last name of the patient. He can enter the race, the gender, the date of birth, and all the other options that you are able to see in front of your screens at this point of time. Now, if just on the top center of your screen, next to Demographics tab, there is Insurance tab also available, where the provider can enter the insurance information for the patient. Now, once he has done entering the demographics for a patient, he can just go back to the main screen. And let's say he has tagged certain patient again, it will just pop up the same 6 features that we've just discussed about. And let's say the provider has tabbed the chart summary. Once he has tabbed the chart summary, it will take him to this screen over here where he would be able to see the list of all the charts that he has created for the patients. And he can just edit this chart, or if he wants to add a new chart, he can do that by tapping the plus or add chart button that is available on the top right corner of the screen. Now, if the provider taps any of the charts that is available in the entire list, it will further take him down to 3 different options. First one is the open chart option. As you can understand by the name itself, it will allow the provider to view the chart, the selected chart, and make any changes according to his own convenience. If he selects the forward chart option, he will be able to forward the chart to any of the practices or any of the staff members within the same practice. And obviously, if he just chooses the delete chart button, he will be able to delete the chart that he has selected. Now, once done viewing the chart summary, he can just go back to the main screen, and as I've told you, he has 2 different options in order to create a new chart. He can either do that by using the add chart option available, or he can just do that by tapping the plus button that will be available on the top right corner of the screen once he taps the chart summary. We're just going to show you that as well over here. As you can see, he would be able to add the new chart if he's on the chart summary screen, but if he just decides to go back to the main screen, he can create a new chart by using the add chart button. Now, once he taps the add chart button or new chart button, it will take him to this screen over here. And as you can see, there are multiple features that have been highlighted on the top center of the screen. The provider can just choose and select any of the features that are being displayed on the screen at this point of time, and he can just enter the details in regards to that. Let's say if the provider has selected the HPI, that is history of presenting illness, then he is able to enter the vital signs, the reason for the visit of the patient, the blood pressure reading, and once he, for the vital signs tab, once he enters the height and weight of the specific unique patient, the BMI will be calculated automatically. The tab next to history of presenting illness is PMH, that is past medical history. This tab allows the providers to enter the data on immunizations, childhood illness, past hospitalization, and past surgeries of the patient. He may also enter any of the past procedures that he has carried out for the specific unique patient that he is creating the chart for. Now, if he just moves on to the social history tab, you would be able to enter the following details that you can see on your screen at this point of time. You can enter the tobacco usage, the miscellaneous usage. You can enter the marital status and the risk factor. Now, one more thing that has been added up to this application is that we have been designing it by using the toggles mode. As you can see that there are different toggles in front of your screen that you can use anytime according to your own convenience. Let me just tell you how it works is, for example, let us just discuss about the alcohol and caffeine usage. If the provider scrolls the toggle towards extreme left, it will turn red. That will indicate that the person is non-alcoholic. If we just switch the toggle towards extreme right, it will turn blue. That will indicate that the person is alcoholic. But if you just decide to just let the toggle wherever it is in the center, that will indicate that the situation is unknown whether the patient is alcoholic or not. Similarly, there are 3 to 4 different toggles available in front of the suicide risk, the caffeine option, and the alcohol option as well. Alright, the tab next to the social history is review of systems, where the provider can enter the review of systems according to his own convenience. Similarly, if the provider wants to enter the assessments or procedures or the plan of care or medications, he can just do that by choosing different tabs that are available, and you can see in front of your screens at this point of time. If he wants to enter the ICDs or CPTs for a specific unique patient, he can do that by using the assessments and procedure tab. He would have an option to search for a specific ICD or CPT by different criterion, that is by code and by description as well. And he can enter the medications in plan of care medication tab. If he has to write any chart notes, he can just go ahead and use the chart notes CN tab for that. And as you can see, there's also a documents tab available within creating the new chart as well, so you can just go ahead and view the documents by using the documents tab that is available on screen at this point of time as well. Now, once the provider is done creating the new chart, before he saves this chart to the system, he can just preview that by choosing the preview button that is available on the top right corner of the screen. As I told you earlier, this application works on exactly the same platform as our webEHR to make mind almost each and every feature that is available in the webEHR in this application as well. Now, let me just go ahead and grab all the questions that were asked during this webinar session, and we are just going to answer the questions accordingly. let me just go ahead and grab all the questions that were asked during this webinar session. Alright, the first question that we came across during this webinar session was that whether the provider is able to forward the chart just only within the same practice or to any other provider within the different practice. So as I've explained to you earlier, that at this point of time the provider has the only option available for the provider is that he can just forward the chart within the same practice. The next question that I came across was there is a provider who is an Android user, and he was asking whether this application is available on Android devices. Yes, as I've told you earlier, this application is available on Google Play Store as well, and you can just download that. The name of the application is MTBC EHR. You can just search that and download that and use that accordingly. Now, one more very important question that I came across during this webinar session was that whether the providers are able to report PQRS by using this application. Once he is about to submit the claim, there is an option available in this application which will help him in just submitting the PQRS. He will be able to report the PQRS button. There is a certain button designed, and you can just tap that button and report PQRS as well for the Medicare patients. Now, another question that we came across was that after creating the chart from the iPad, how much time will it take for the chart to be available in the system? Let's say if the provider has created the chart by using his iPad device and he logs back in from his computer or laptop by using the webEHR, whether he would be able to view the chart in the webEHR at the exact time he has created the chart from the iEHR. The answer to this question is yes, that the chart will be available in real time, and the provider will be able to see the chart the moment he creates or saves the chart by using his iPad device. Alright, the next question that I came across was, are there any templates available in this application, iEHR? Yeah, as I've told you earlier, there are the exact templates that are available in the webEHR. They are available on this application as well. And one more question that I came across during this webinar session was, can the application customized for a psychologist's office and delete unessential material? The answer to this question is that we have recently designed a new module in the webEHR for psychiatry, and we will be getting this enabled in this application as well. Once we have to check the technicalities, and once we receive the feedback from the providers, we are going to go ahead and create this module in this application as well. Now, if you've got any other questions or comments, you can contact us anytime at by sending us emails at info@mtbc.com. If you want to get hold of all the webinars that are being conducted in MTBC so far, you can just log into our website, www.mtbc.com/webinars.aspx. We are also available on Vimeo, and if you want to ask any other questions by using the phone line, you can contact us at 732-873-5133, and our technical support team is always available to answer all the questions and queries from your end. Now, that's pretty much from my end. Thank you all for joining us in this webinar. I hope it proved out to be an informative and helpful session for all of you. I wish you all a very blessed day, and goodbye from my end.